All right, let's talk about one of the biggest, most complex challenges for any modern media service out there. How in the world do you secure your premium content? It's a constant global battle. So today, we're going to do a deep dive and break down exactly how streaming services play this high-stakes game. Now, just for a little context, what we're covering here is based on Chapter 6 of a huge 15-part report called How Streaming Services Work. It was put together by Virtualization Options LLC, and we're just going to zero in on this one crucial chapter, all about content protection. So this is the fundamental question, right? The one that keeps streaming architects up at night. You've got these incredibly valuable assets, blockbuster movies, live sports, you name it, and you have to get them to your legit users perfectly, while somehow locking out a whole world of bad actors. It is a very, very high-stakes game. To get our heads around this, we're going to look at it the way an architect would, in layers. First, we'll talk about why this is so important, the security imperative. Then we'll dive into the layers themselves, DRM, secure transport, and forensic watermarking. And we'll wrap it all up with what we're calling the balancing act. So let's start with why this is so critical. Honestly, it's pretty simple. The rights holders, the movie studios, the sports leagues, they demand it. They will not give you their content unless you can prove you can protect it. And this forces you into this constant delicate dance between having ironclad security, a great user experience, and managing the insane operational complexity of it all. This quote makes such an important point. Security is not one single thing. You can't just go out and buy a security box and call it a day. You are defending against a whole range of different attacks, from something as simple as password sharing all the way up to sophisticated organized piracy rings. You absolutely need a defense in-depth strategy. Okay, so let's get into our first and, you could argue, most fundamental layer of defense, digital rights management. You'll hear it called DRM all the time. This is all about locking down the actual content file before it even dreams of leaving your servers. So here's the key thing to understand about DRM. Yes, it encrypts the media. It basically turns it into unreadable garbage for anyone without the key. But the real magic is in how it controls who gets access to that key. The DRM system is the gatekeeper that decides on a case-by-case basis who gets to unlock and actually watch the content. And this visual just lays out that core workflow perfectly. Step 1, the content gets encrypted. Now, you can put it anywhere, even on a public CDN, because it's just scrambled data. Step 2, a user hits play. Their device then has to phone home to a license server to ask for the key. And finally, step 3, the player takes that key and decrypts the video, but it does it inside a secure, protected environment on the device itself. Of course, it's never just one size fits all, is it? You've basically got the big 3 DRM providers, and each one is locked into a major tech ecosystem. You've got Google's Widevine, Microsoft's PlayReady, and of course, Apple's FairPlay. So if you want to reach everybody on every device, well, you don't have a choice. You have to implement a multi-DRM strategy. Now, even within those DRM systems, there's another really critical distinction: security levels. Level 1, or L1, uses a special protected area on the device's chip. It's called a secure enclave to do all the decryption. This is like the Fort Knox of DRM. It's what the studios require for 4K and HDR content. Then you have Level 3, which is all software-based. It's way more compatible, but it's less secure, so studios will often only let you play standard or maybe high-def video with it. And for anyone in an IT or operations role, this slide is basically your nightmare fuel. Your license server absolutely positively cannot go down. If it does, nobody watches anything. Every single time a video starts, that license request adds a little bit of latency. And then you have to manage key rotation and offline downloads, and integrating all of this into your different apps, it's a massive, massive operational lift. Okay, so the content itself is locked down with DRM. But what about the journey it takes across the internet to get to the user? Well, that brings us to our next layer, secure transport. This is all about protecting the data while it's in motion. Your toolkit here has 3 main parts. First, everything, and I mean everything, has to be delivered over HTTPS, non-negotiable. Second, your backend APIs need to be locked down tight using modern token-based security like OAuth or JWTs. And third, you use things like signed URLs or CDN tokens to stop people from just grabbing the links to your video files and posting them on their own website. And here we go again with another classic architectural trade-off. For super sensitive content, you could use end-to-end encryption, where not even the CDN can see the unencrypted data. But that completely breaks caching, which is what gives you performance at scale. That's why pretty much all consumer streaming services use standard HTTPS. It's still incredibly strong security, but it lets the CDNs do their job and keep things running fast. So what happens when a really determined pirate gets through all of that? Maybe they use some fancy screen recording software, or they've got a compromised device. This is where your last line of defense comes in: forensic watermarking. Now, the big thing to understand here is that watermarking is not about preventing piracy. It's about attribution. It's about finding out who did it. You embed a unique, totally invisible serial number into every single video stream. So if that stream ever pops up on a pirate site, you can scan it, pull out that serial number, and trace it right back to the account that leaked it. And this is where it gets really powerful. We're talking session-based watermarking. Instead of one watermark for everybody, a completely unique mark is dynamically inserted for every single playback session. It can encode the user's ID, the exact time they watched, their IP address. It makes every single copy of that video forensically unique and totally traceable. And here you can see the whole operational cycle in action. You dynamically insert the watermark, your automated systems are constantly crawling the web looking for illegal copies. When one is found, you extract the watermark, which identifies the source. And then you take action. Maybe you suspend the account, maybe you pursue legal channels. It's a continuous loop. Okay, let's pull all this together. For all the architects and IT professionals watching this, what are the big core principles you really need to take away from all this? First, there is no silver bullet here. This is a complex interplay of systems, and you are always balancing security against performance and the user experience. There's no single best solution. Because it's so complex, monitoring is absolutely essential if you want to be great at this. And finally, you have to keep your eye on emerging tech, but evaluate it carefully. It's all about making the right trade-offs for your service. And I just love this closing thought from the report. It's so true. It's not just about knowing how DRM works or how HTTPS works. It's about understanding how they all interact with each other, how a security choice over here is going to impact performance way over there. That holistic systems-level thinking, that's what separates a competent setup from a truly world-class one. And that leaves us with a final question to think about. As piracy tools get smarter and smarter, maybe even driven by AI that can analyze and defeat these systems, how does that change the game? Are we going to have to accept more intrusive security measures for the content we watch? Or will new technologies come along to help us maintain that delicate balance? It's a huge question, and it's one every architect in the space is going to have to answer.